Hello, you disgusting little cretins, and welcome to the second episode of the podcast.
Well, greetings everyone, hope you have a good day!
We're your hosts. We have Spoodwood
Weedon, yeah!
and Cretin McCall.
Yes.
Yeah, so it's been a good time. Lots of good times had by all. So tell me, Spoodwood, what have you been up to?
What have I been doing?
Yes.
What have I been doing? Well, I guess I played some video games, watched some movies, watched some TV, and other random stuff.
Oh, shucks, it's like the podcast is about that stuff, isn't it?
Oh, it is!
For sure. So what have you been playing?
Well, where should I start? Well, I maybe should start with some of a game that I picked up recently called No Kuni 2.
Oh, real. I've actually seen a lot of commercials about it, but I haven't played the first one, and I'm sort of don't get what the second one is about either.
Yeah, it's a quite odd thing actually, because the first one was made in a collaboration with the company known as Level 5 and Studio Ghibli, so that's why they had a lot of Studio Ghibli animators working on the first game.
Okay.
And it became a commercial success, but it was PS3 exclusive, so I never got the chance to play it because I was a Xbox 360/Wii kid back then. Yeah, but since I now got a PS4, I can play the second one, which albeit is not made directly by Studio Ghibli people, but some of the people who worked on the last game worked on this one, so they carry on some of the style that they kept from the first game.
Okay,
and the thing is,
yeah. No,
continue.
I was gonna say, well, what is it about? But yeah, keep going.
I try to not to go into spoilers, but
Sure.
the game starts with the main character is president of the United States that is going to New York, and there's a nuclear explosion that kills the whole city, and yourself included. And then you get transported into a magical world, isekai styled, where there's
bullshit.
A race war.
It is bullshit.
Yeah, where you're planted right into a race war between a species of cat people and a species of rat people that successfully done a coup over a city known as Ding Dog Dell. And they're about to execute the prince child of the now assassinated king. So your job is to escort this kid from the city and try to reclaim it in some way.
Okay. That's a lot of taking.
Weird.
Fucking
it's
race
really
wars, cat
weird.
people, nuclear explosions in New York City, all in one game. Fresh.
Yeah,
fantastic.
And remember, this is just the first 5 minutes.
That's the first 5 minutes. Holy crap. Jesus fucking shit.
It's really freaking weird. And from what I read, there is really no big connection to the first game. I think it's actually a game set many thousand years after the first game. So you don't really have to play the first game in order to get the story.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Doesn't really sound like my thing. Is it like a JRPG or is it
yes,
more of...
It's a JRPG with real-time combat, actually.
Real-time combat? So how would that work?
Yeah, basically, you have a party of characters, 3 at a time, and you can switch between all of them during the battle. And you have attacks, you have auto-attack. No, wait, I think it's wrong game. Sorry. You have heavy and light attacks,
sure.
by different weapons, and then you have special abilities. This could be special sword attacks, or hammer attacks, or even magic attacks. And then you also have ranged attacks like guns, wands, and crossbows and stuff.
Fresh. So would you say it's a bit more akin to as the fact of when you say real time, do you mean that there's like a timer that goes down before your turn is over, or is it?
There's actually none of the turn-based stuff at all. Okay. It's all real time.
Oh yeah. No, I kind of, because when you were explaining it, I sort of heard that you were sort of explaining the gameplay of Dragon's Quest.
Oh yeah,
yeah. No, I heard it.
Fun thing though, I actually bought this game alongside with Dragon Quest. I just haven't started Dragon Quest yet.
Oh yeah, no, it looks good, eh? It looks really cool. I'd love to actually have a look at it. I haven't actually started playing it yet. I've sort of, I'm sort of the kind of player that waits a very long time to actually buy a new game that has come out. It's very rare that I buy a game release date.
Yeah, I see.
Yeah, go on.
I was planning on doing that as well this time, but I read that the company that are currently making Dragon Quest games are seriously considering to stop their support in the West with the games because they don't sell that well during release.
Oh, okay. Fair enough.
So I felt like I kind of want more of these games to come to the West, so I had to kind of buy it while it was still hot.
Yeah, well, check it. Here's the thing. Common practice in the games industry these days is that you released a game buggy as shit, unfinished, and they're like, they expect the people who buy, pre-order it, get the exclusive DLC packages.
Wow.
Yeah, that they're supposed to like bug test the game for them, and then they sort of patch it up as they go along. And it's also the fact that a lot of games face controversy about whatever it may be the moment they get released, and it's just so good to play a game once the dust has settled and it's just a diamond. The only problem is that if you try and talk about it with people, they'll be like, oh Jesus man, that's fucking ages ago. You can't talk about that anymore.
How are you doing, fellow kids?
Essentially, yeah, you feel really old. Well, not old, but as you're like the slowest guy ever who's just catching on to some trends. But I've been replaying a lot of older games. I've been replaying Arkham Knight because I felt as if I never really got to finish the game properly. I finished it. I played till the end, but I never felt like I actually got the time to enjoy it as much as I just burned through it. And I hate when I do that. I hate when I don't take the time to appreciate what I got in front of me, but just like lazily going through.
Yeah, I know what you mean. And you also didn't play the game with all the DLC, right?
No, that's right.
Yeah,
correct.
Yeah, because they had lots of fun stuff actually. Because I think it was the Season of Infamy DLC. They actually had some of the better side missions for the game. Because one of the main gripes I had with Arkham Knight when I was playing it was that lots of the side missions and lots of the combat was really Batmobile focused, and it kind of felt like it was cheapening the whole Batman experience actually.
Sure, yeah, no, I definitely feel as if you're most of the time in the Batmobile doing Batmobile stuff rather than being Batman, which is fine. I understand that it was a huge gimmick. They probably put a lot of money into it, and they just felt like, what's the point of adding the Batmobile if you can't do a lot of cool shit with it? You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, and it's also pretty impressive that you can summon the Batmobile with a button press like that. It's really seamless.
It just materializes out of frame, and then it just kind of rolls up to you. And it's, I don't know, I think the game is super good. It has a lot of good missions. I don't know if I prefer Arkham Knight in front of Arkham City. I know it's better than Arkham Origins, in my humble opinion. Yeah, but it's I'm enjoying it now that I'm actually playing it for real.
One thing that Arkham Origins actually does better than Knight is the boss battles, because in Knight, for example, Deathstroke is in both games, and in Origins it's like a freaking intense battle where it's like playing against another Batman player.
Yeah, no, for sure. But I know.
But in Night, it's just another generic tank battle.
Yeah, I know.
It's such a big disappointment.
It sucks. It really does.
Yeah, it's like when you first contact him, he's like, "Oh, Batman, it's so fun to meet you once again. I look forward against our next battle." And you're like, "Yeah, I'm hyped. Yay, Deathstroke is back. Whee!" And then you meet him, and you're like, "Oh, okay."
See, what I would have enjoyed more as a boss battle is that since Deathstroke is in many ways equal to Batman, I would have very much more preferred it. What if he would be chasing you instead, as in not chasing you like a run away from him sequence, but more or less that he's skulking in the shadows and you don't know where he is.
Yeah, that was very cool.
And then he just kind of gets to jump on you, and it's sort of that thing. That would have been a pretty cool sequence to have on it.
Yeah.
For sure, definitely. In other ways, I've played Nier Automata. So far, I kind of like it. I think it's super cool.
Yes.
It's pretty anime.
Yeah, it's really anime.
It's really anime, but I like it. It has a lot of cool things. I can't wait till I actually get further into the game, because right now it's I get it. It's just a prologue and not a lot of it is happening. So I'm looking forward to getting ahead in the game.
Yeah, it's a really good game. You get lots of content from it. It's really a game that you want to play more and more and more the more you play it, actually.
Cool. Speaking of which, because bringing it back to Batman for a second, they released a sort of like a teaser trailer, because DC's new, I don't know what you call it, DC Netflix, Warner Brothers Netflix.
Yeah, DC Universe, the new streaming service.
They're doing a new Harley Quinn show.
Yeah, I saw that.
And I watched the teaser, and I got really disappointed, because we're not getting Tara Strong. No siree, no more Tara Strong. We're getting Kaylee Cuoco, if you know who that is.
Yeah, from the Big Bong Theory.
The Brit Bong Theory.
Yeah.
Which I don't know how to feel about that. What do you think?
I feel like her voice is a bit on the annoying side, but I actually felt the same when Tara Strong was doing her first rounds as Harley Quinn back in Arkham City, and she immediately grew on me.
But it was charming. You know the Brooklyn accent she's got? Mr. J.
Mr. J.
Hey, I'm walking here. You know, that kind of stuff. But now she doesn't have it. She doesn't have it anymore. It sucks.
Yeah. Me myself, I was so used with the Arlen Sorkin voice from the animated series back in the 90s, so I was kind of miffy when it was announced that she wouldn't do the voice anymore. And but the thing that I actually like about the Harley Quinn is that they actually seem quite self-aware.
Yes, a lot of the jerks are very self-aware. They do the whole like, ooh, DC is really dark and gritty. Whoa, and they, like try to make fun of themselves, which is fun. And I do appreciate it. It sort of has like a little Deadpool-y vibe to it.
Yeah, speaking of Deadpool, they actually put a jab on the Donald Glover Deadpool show that was currently in the making.
Donald Glover Deadpool show?
Yes, he was going to direct the Deadpool show for Fox, but it was cancelled.
Oh, sure, that sucks.
Yeah, and that's what they jabbed in the trailer.
Oh well, I think Harley Quinn is like the closest thing you'll get to a DC Deadpool.
That or Ambush Bug, but no one knows who Ambush Bug is.
Or what's he called? Little Mxyzptlk, maybe.
Yeah, Mxyzptlk or Bat Imp. What's his name again?
I don't know. I don't know.
What's his name again? For fuck's sake, I forgot. Yeah, Batmite. Yeah.
Batmite. No. I know who you're talking about, but I've never actually read or seen anything with it.
For fuck's sake.
Bat Imp. Oh well, you're not too far away, to be honest.
Yeah. To be fair, they're both 11th dimensional imps, so I was kinda right there.
Sort of right. For sure. I hope to see it. Let's be real, I'm not getting the new Warner Brothers Netflix service. I don't get why everybody has to compete with their own service. This is one of the few instances where I want monopoly to happen. I just want Netflix to be the sole provider, and I don't have to worry about getting any other services. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what I mean, but there's actually one good thing to come from this. That is competition, and that will actually probably make more of these streaming services more competitive and try to upend what's it called? Upend each other so that they're improving.
Oh, yeah, no, I can see that. Yeah. The only thing I would be excited for would have to be Young Justice Season 3.
Outsiders, yeah.
When are they going to release it?
Sometime next year, because now they are too busy with their freaking Titans show that looks not good at all.
Yeah, let's be real, it's garbage.
Yeah, I like. What are you thinking? They don't get the point of the characters. And actually, I read a news article today.
Sure.
That some of the writers were mad that people took the "fuck Batman" line out of context, and that's because in this universe, Batman is a killer, and Robin doesn't want to kill people in this universe.
Why did they change a fundamental part of the character?
I don't know. They just want to.
Why would they? I don't care if it's out of context.
Yeah, it feels stupid.
It feels stupid. Why would you? It's insane. Unless you're doing like a whole Flashpoint thing, it's dumb.
Yeah, we Thomas Wayne in that, but no.
Yeah, and and here's the thing. I've heard that they're actually doing a Jason Todd episode.
Yes, they will.
Yeah, they will. And I'm kind of like, why do you have to when Robin is just like Jason Todd?
Yeah, it doesn't make sense because in the original comics, Dick Grayson became kind of fed up with Batman because he always thought that Bruce was always so destructive in his own ways that he never grew, he never kind of let go of his trauma, and he just didn't want to be like his stepfather in that case. So he wanted to be independent. That's why he became Nightwing in the comics.
Yes, and that's a fine reason to be. Honestly, I wouldn't like it if he had the same Robin through and through. Definitely not. You got the whole Damian Wayne, which I sort of like, because you sort of have Batman trying to restrict him from doing anything stupid, which is pretty good, because let's be real, Dick Grayson was a bit of a goody two shoes in a way.
Yeah, he is. He's the goody two shoes Robin. That's his thing.
Yeah, and you can't really build any drama off of that. Sort of, because whatever drama you can build off of it is you basically get back to why he would be Nightwing. You sort of like get back to the whole, oh well, he doesn't really fit as Robin anymore. He's just gonna go. That's it.
Well, the only kind of drama that Nightwing is currently is being raped constantly in the comics.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I don't know why, but it's a thing. He always gets in sexual situations against his will.
Jesus.
It's like,
Jesus.
Like first, I think the first one was, I think it was Terra back in the Teen Titans comics. That's
I know Harley Quinn did something. Yeah. They referenced it in the kids movie they made. Batman and Harley Quinn. They referenced it.
Correction, it's not actually made for kids. It's actually, I think it has a hard R rating. Actually, it's just made in the same style that the animated series was.
Is it? Well, I'll be honest, I haven't seen it either.
The whole movie, it's really weird. It's something like, they need to eat Swamp Thing's weird sweet potato that makes them go high, so they can plant life into the rivers and make the whole world into plant world. That's the story.
All for the green.
Yes, for the green. So, Poison Ivy and her mentor, the Pharaonic Man, they kind of want to turn everyone into plant hybrids because they think that's the only way that human will actually... That they think that's the only way that humanity will give a shit about the environment. So, but then Batman takes his sciencey stuff and says, oh no, if they do this wrong, everyone will just die and become vegetables. Literally.
It's always really funny when they do like these sort of environmental episodes, when it's all about the green.
The green.
Yeah, because they always make nature seem like really evil.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
It's kind of counterproductive.
It's sort of counterproductive, isn't it? Because it's not really extreme to want people to be more environmentally friendly. The point is rather that going back to going to the whole like humans need to be extinct in order for nature to be green argument is sort of weird. I find it to be like almost an old relic of really depressed people who want to be edgy. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's kind of like the humans are the problem. Edgy. Whoa.
It's like one of those edgy kids who go like, fuck the world. I just wish a big bomb dropped on everything and killed everybody.
Whoa!
Because my thinking skills are that of me being really sad and depressed.
So edgy. Whoa.
Yeah, it's sort of weird because I feel as if villains in a lot of shows they just need to be a bit more, I've always thought that a good villain has to be someone who wants good, and the hero is just someone who very much disagrees. Do you know what I mean? It doesn't have to be good and evil. It just has to be the guy that we're currently empathizing with and care about is the one who disagrees. That's all it needs to be. It doesn't need to be anything else than that.
Yeah, speaking of Batman again, for example, Ra's al Ghul in most of the older comics actually just wanted that humanity would come into a more equal level plane on the world. So he suggested to actually eradicate, I think, a certain percent of humanity so that we didn't take so many resources from the Earth.
Sure. Or you can go with the whole, as long as you're not a video game, you can go with the whole Battle Royale premise. You got Game of Thrones, where there are no protagonists. It's just literally different people who want all the same thing, but only one can have it.
Yeah,
and therefore they do a lot of shitty things, and then there's a bunch of subplots that revolve around it, for sure. That's why I enjoy Game of Thrones, and that the fact that there's, well, unless you look at the later seasons, there is no actual protagonist.
Yeah, it's kind of sad what happened with Game of Thrones, because the first 4 seasons were like really freaking good, but the more they went with stuff that wasn't in the books, it became more clear that they had an actual protagonist and an antagonist, and it was like they all got assigned roles that just made the story much weaker.
Yeah, for sure. It's weird because you can look at shows like The Walking Dead and Game of Thrones. They are top in this critique that I'm about to make. Is that you can actually see the point in which they're like, fuck the source material, let's appeal to the widest demographic there is.
Yeah,
Game of Thrones is a prime example of that. They're like, that guy, that little Jon Snow and Daenerys are quite good, and everybody thinks they're really likable. How about we make them the protagonist all of a sudden?
Yeah, even though Daenerys is actually a horrible person, but yeah.
Yeah, no, in many ways she is a horrible person, and it's really hard to empathize with her sometimes. I just kind of think that people are a little bit starstruck with her in a way. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Sort of. And it's sad to see. You can see the same with Walking Dead in many aspects, that now it's less about a compelling plot and more on a sort of like who's the least popular character. Let's kill him off as soon as he starts to lose traction and interest in the show. We'll just end him. Get rid of that character. It's gone. Goodbye.
Yeah. And speaking of both Game of Thrones and Walking Dead, is like that their shows they don't really dare to adapt the whole material when it comes to it, because, for example, one of the characters that Daenerys meets in Game of Thrones season 3, I think, one of the barbarians, he is actually meant to have like long blue hair and shit, but in the show he's like, it's another long-haired barbarian.
Oh no! I know who you're talking about. Yes, they actually, you're talking about Dario Naharis. Is that correct?
Yeah.
So he actually wasn't a completely different person. The last episode, when you meet him, as soon as the new season starts, he's actually replaced by a new actor. And it left a lot of people really confused, because all of a sudden there's this new guy and he calls himself by the same thing, and he also looks as one of the lieutenants that were killed in the previous season, which a lot of people were very confused. They didn't really quite understand what had happened.
Yeah, that's really weird.
Yeah, though he's a cool character. I actually enjoy him in the show quite a bit. He has a very carefree nature about him. There's a very particular scene, I hope people can actually pinpoint what I mean, that is super, super cool. It's epic. It's epic. Yeah, for sure. It's like, we were talking a little bit about Walking Dead. I haven't kept up with the show very much. I hope they actually are to adapt the whole Alpha Zombie Pack storyline.
Wait, what's that about then? Because I know jack shit about Walking Dead.
It's hard to explain, but essentially they meet sort of a group who try to integrate with the zombies.
Okay.
And they're led by like an alpha leader, like an alpha.
Okay.
So yeah, they're essentially their entire plot is trying to, instead of living away from the zombies, to try to integrate and being one of them and moving between them to survive instead. Which is interesting. I wonder if they're gonna get around to it. I don't know where they are. Last time I watched, they're in the Negan subplot.
Yeah, Negan. Yeah.
Yep. And you know, post-apocalyptic things are a bit of a good interest of mine. I like post-apocalyptic stuff because you can cram in so much philosophy into it if you really do try.
Reduce humanity to its bare bones again.
Yeah, for sure. Speaking of which, you played Fist of the North Star yet?
Yes, I got it in the mail yesterday.
Yesterday, fantastic.
Yeah, it got late, like 3 days late, but I'm still playing it, and people were saying that it was actually more like a Yakuza game, but in the first 2 chapters, it's like really linear, and you don't come to this game's Kamurocho, if you can call it, until the 4th chapter.
Okay.
Yeah, so yeah, the first chapter in the game are established more like I think the game actually starts with where the like an alternate reality of the ending of the anime.
Okay.
So it's like really weird that you kind of the first boss of the game is like the final boss of the whole show. And other stuff happens which alters the things that would happen, and you can come into this new town that the whole story is having place in.
It's sort of like they did with The Witcher. They sort of like start the story at the end of the books, or the anime in this case, which is it's a pretty interesting way of starting a story. But it also feels really weird when you're sort of back at square one from like the end of something where the person at hand was like super powerful.
Yeah, and but the gameplay itself, it's very similar to Yakuza games, but I feel like it's more fast, and it's faster than the other Yakuza games, because you know, when you do all the and Omae wa mo Shindeiru with all the pressure points and stuff.
I actually
because the square button is dedicated to punches, the triangle button is dedicated to kicks, and you have the circle button, which is exclusively dedicated to making this pressure point attacks.
Oh, that's cool. I can see how that works, yeah.
And when a meter builds up for an enemy, you can do this pressure point, then you can do an Omae Shindeiru attack on them, like all different techniques from the Hokuto Shinkan clan and that shit.
They really pushed that meme in the advertising. I remember watching E3, and they had like a hashtag "You are already dead" underneath the trailer, which was
they
like,
fucking know.
They know, and they ended the whole trailer with like "Omae wa mo Shindeiru," which was hype as shit. I loved it. It's great.
Yeah, and also a pretty fun thing that I actually discovered today was that some of these attacks are very context sensitive. So, for example, you can do an attack where you make one of these pressure point attacks, and if you're surrounded by enemies, you can then spin this enemy around with your thumb stuck into the temple of his head, and spin round and take down multiple enemies. And then if you push a button prompt exactly right, you can make this enemy explode into just blood and guts covering the entire area.
That's the thing I love about the entire Yakuza games in general. They have such good takedown. The takedowns are like literally, oh, this character is such a nice and peaceful boy, but at the same time they're fucking curb stomping people while shoving nails in their mouth.
And that, oh fuck, that just hurts to look at.
It just hurts looking at it. It's great. I love it.
But remember, Kazuma Kiryu has never killed a person.
You guys, if you have YouTube up, check out the compilation. Just search like Goro Majima or Kazuma Kiryu has never killed a single person in their entire lives, and you'll get to see the best of the takedowns. That's like the prime way of seeing them. But
and another thing that's quite hilarious is that if you get the game and you download a certain skin for it, during a time frame, you get the Kazuma Kiryu skin for free. So you can play as Kenshiro looking like Kazuma Kiryu.
That's nice. Does he have the voice too?
Yes, that's actually a fun thing because the voice actor for Kenshiro in this game is Kazuma Kiryu. It's the same guy.
Huh.
And he sounds freaking amazing, actually. He sounds like he could be a good replacement for the one that was in the show.
Interesting. Because he hasn't done any parts before, has he?
No, I think he's actually typecast as Kazuma Kiryu in all media, actually.
Well,
because he played Kazuma Kiryu like in the Ishin games, you know, the ones with samurais and shit.
The one where he isn't Kazuma Kiryu, but obviously looks like Kazuma Kiryu.
Yeah, exactly.
Bring it to the West, by the way. Bring it to the West. I want to play it.
Absolutely, yeah. Speaking of that, like the first half hour of the Fist of North Star game, you meet a character named Ruka.
Pardon?
Ruka.
Ruka.
Yeah, it sounds kind of familiar to another character in Yakuza, right?
Ruka.
Oh. Yeah, so I think that, oh no, this character is going to be like important later on, isn't she?
You know what? I would kill for more supportive dad moments, whether in the karaoke studio and go like, let's go, Haruka!
Oh yeah. There are karaoke bars in this game. There are.
Yes, love it.
But I haven't found any yet.
Okay, so they exist though. They're out there somewhere.
Yes, they are there.
Having Kenshiro going like clapping his hands like, oi, rubbery Ruke!
Like a butterfly. For fuck's sake, Kenshiro. You're in the post-apocalypse and you're making karaoke.
Well, you know, nothing's wrong with a little bit of karaoke. I've actually gone to an actual karaoke bar and it was great.
Nice.
It's good. It's fun. It's a lot of fun. I went there during my stay in New Zealand. We went to a karaoke bar and it's just about as you know, games and media show it. You're led to a room, whoever you're there with. In my case, it was like a lot of people, and you basically sing. At the time, most of us were kind of drunk, so it was you know, there were no solos to be had. We all kind of sang over each other. We kind of like yelled over each other, which was good fun. It was good fun, but it's not the whole thing where someone sings and everybody waits their turn. You literally yell with them. And
I guess you just sang lots of anime openings, didn't you?
Actually, no, they didn't have any. It was just like pop songs that I've never heard about. So I just kind of like went for it.
How awkward! Oh my god! Oh my god! Imagine it! Oh god!
Yeah, so it's you could imagine me just kind of like, hey, a tornado,
mushy mushy,
pops music, and I did the whole like nasal Shakira voice. Have you heard? Shakira. Is it Shakira that does the whole like, going in and in? Is that a Shakira song? You know, like that. Whatever.
Yeah, that's Shakira. Whatever.
Hang hand within your ear.
Shakira.
Shakira.
Talk like that. You make a woman go mad.
Okay, hands down, Shakira is one of the best pop singers ever. Cause, god damn it, we're a bunch of fucking neckbeards living deep within the caves of the underworld. But I will admit from my bitter dark heart that I actually like Shakira. She makes good music.
This is Africa.
Yeah, that's also a good song. Though I don't know.
They're all catchy, so.
They're all catchy.
Waka waka, yeah.
Sounds like she's just kind of reading the cast off of Sesame Street.
Yeah.
Waka waka.
Waka. Funniest joke.
Yeah. Is this what we're gonna devolve into? Just a bunch of Family Guy references. You can tell that we're a bunch of edgy kids with no good sense of humor when we're just kind of ripping off Family Guy on.
Yeah, it's kind of sad.
It's kind of
really sad.
But we're all
kind of really sad.
It's kind of really sad. It's okay though. However, Hey, Spoodward, I kind of feel like this episode is purely about you because you're the only one who's actually been experiencing new things this week.
Yeah, where should we start?
Yes, so
well, we have started, but where should we go next is the question.
Yes, and I kind of feel as if you've been a terrible friend this week. I've been trying to get your attention, trying to have a good time with you, trying to, do the finer things in life. And you kind of just go and watch a shitty movie who has 29% of Rotten Tomatoes, and
yes, I did.
You value that stuff over hanging out with me.
Well, I should just say this. The most accurate description of Venom the movie is actually just take the dancing scene from Spider-Man 3, loop it 10,000 times, and you have the movie.
My God, that sounds...
Yeah, it's like a really cringy ass comedy akin to epic movie / superhero movie. You know those movies?
Oh yeah. No, I get what you mean.
It's really weird and doesn't really know what it wants to be, and the movie as a whole seems really rushed, and character motivations doesn't make any lick of sense. And I shit you not, here's the line from the movie: in order to get the upper hand on genetics and medical research, we have to go to space first. That's a real line in the movie, and I was like laughing my ass when I first heard it.
That sounds ridiculous. They're like, we gotta go to space to understand the humans.
Yeah, we have to find symbiotes in space and cure humans.
What does symbiotes have to do with fucking human genetics?
Yeah, that's a weird part, because I kind of think they didn't know what origin they wanted to take, because in the mainstream universe, the symbiotes are a part of an alien race, but in the Ultimate universe that was relaunched in the 2000s, they remade symbiotes so that they are actually experiments made in order to cure cancer.
It's always cancer, isn't it?
Yeah, it's always cancer, yeah, and the best part is that this was all the project made by Peter Parker's father back then in the comics.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but in the Venom movie, they basically, what Sony's trying to make here is a Spider-Man universe without Spider-Man. So we have all Spider-Man characters without Spider-Man.
Sort of like the fucking CW universe. They're trying to make a Batman universe without Batman.
Yeah, but the problem is that the CW universe actually has some good moments, but here's none.
I kind of feel like after the second season of Arrow, the fucking universe just kind of went to shit, to be honest.
Yeah, the thing with the Arrowverse was that the writers for Arrow jumped to the Flash after season 2.
Yeah,
and that's why Flash season 1 is also good. So actually, you only have to watch the first Arrow seasons and season 1 of Flash in order to get the good stuff.
Essentially, yeah, I totally would advocate for that as well. I've sort of heard that the Legends of Tomorrow might be a good viewing as well.
Me and my old man actually watched some episodes of it, and it's quite good. It's like a fun ride through the DC universe, through time and space and such. But the problem is that they are really what do you call it? Obvious where they have to go in the plot lines and such, and some episodes feel really cheap. For example, there was an episode where they would try to sneak into a weapons auction in Norway for some bioweapons, when the Savage would go and sell them off to some terrorists.
Norway.
Norwegian terrorists.
The hub for all biological warfare.
Yeah, and you could just see that all of the props are made of computer parts just laying around the set.
That sucks.
So they're like, oh, look at this processor, that's actually a bioweapon. But like, no. It's
just an IBA 9000. It's nothing no biggie.
Oof. Yeah, but going back to Venom then. Do you guys mind if I spoil some a moment in it?
Well, it's just me here. You're not really.
Yeah. Okay. So there is a scene where Eddie Brock and the symbiote gets separated, and Eddie gets kidnapped and brought to a forest.
Sure.
But then the symbiote is in the same room where his girlfriend is. So the symbiote jumps on her, and then she jumps in order to save Eddie Brock, and then she walks like in a latex black suit with symbiote head, walks to Eddie Brock, makes out with him, and transfers it to him.
That
so
sounds
it's
like a fetish.
Yeah, it's like the only good thing with the movie. The only good thing with the movie is that it make lots and lots of She-Venom porn. That's the only good stuff in the movie.
Nice.
I'm not even kidding.
Who's the villain, by the way? I haven't really quite gotten
it's I would say it's an Indian Elon Musk.
Oh, I actually was gonna be like, oh, it's freaking Carnage, isn't it?
No. And the stupid thing is though that he gets a symbiote on him, but the problem is that the symbiote is like one color grade lighter than Venom, so you don't see which is which.
Ah, I never gotten that whole thing like, ooh, I have the same powers as you. Very interesting. Yeah,
it's really it's a trope in many superhero movies that always the first villain is always a dark counter towards the hero. Like Ant-Man did it. Iron Man has done it several times. Actually, think about it.
Black Panther.
Yeah, sadly.
Yeah, you know, I don't want to get crucified, but Black Panther, no. It's a fine movie. I find it okay. It was okay. I only feel as if the only reason it got more culturally significant than what it was
because black people
was because of political reasons. Yes.
Yeah, sadly, it was kind of hijacked by the political stuff. But the most fun thing about Black Panther is that the people who just praised it so much didn't really get the message of it.
No, actually, no. It's true. It is very much against the people who hijacked it. What they kind of want.
Yeah, because the villain is the guy that all these people who hijacked it would love in real life. You know, they all kill all white people, kill their children, all who take their party and shit. It's
for sure.
Yeah, it's like, don't you get that? That's a villain. That's the freaking villain of the movie. Don't you see that's the bad thing?
Yeah, no, it's super weird. I don't get it. I'll never get it.
And speaking of Carnage, that's kind of the post-credit scene. So you see Woody Harrelson sitting in a cell with a mop on his head, which make him look like Sideshow Bob. So yes, Sideshow Bob is Carnage.
Yes, you know.
And I shit you not, his last line is that when I could get out of here, there will be carnage in the streets.
Whoa!
It's like it's so bad. Oh my god.
Edgy boy, very edgy boy.
Yeah. Though I was actually wrong about one thing. Is that there is actually one good thing after that, and that's the final post-credit scene, and that's a 5-minute preview of the Edge of the Spider-Verse movie.
Oh, cool.
Yes.
That was the best part of the movie.
Hands down, that was freaking amazing. The animation is like the most energetic stuff that I've seen in many years. The stylization is really cool. And you also got to see actually some parts where Miles was fighting Prowler.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, that's the best part of the movie.
I'm looking forward to the Spider-Verse movie. Because one thing that I have to be very clear on, though, is that I'm going to make a prediction right here and right now. We are not going... All the villains that are showcased in the trailers, we're not going to see them.
No.
They're going to be part of the final act, where they're trying to put the Spider-Verse together, and then, you know, the villains kind of come in for a one-shot in 1 minute just to kind of, show off that they're there. It's sort of as in Batman Ninja movie.
Yeah.
It's essentially the same thing. In the Batman Ninja movie, they're like, oh, we have all the villains here, but they're samurai-ified. But they kind of just show up just to show that they're slowing down the protagonists, but they're not really seeing much else than that.
Yeah. Oh god, you remember the last fight in Batman Ninja?
Oh yeah, by the way, watch Batman Ninja. It's great. Yeah, it's fantastic.
ASAP. It's like the most anime thing in the entire universe.
Yeah, I was fucking... We were laughing the entire time over how good it was. It wasn't like a laughter of mockery. It was a laughter of how much in awe we were in seeing it.
Yeah.
Because it happened so many fucking cool moments. It was great. Loved it.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, you know, finally we'll get to something that that I've actually seen, that we've both seen, so I actually can I can actually review something for once. You know, offhand, I kind of saw a trailer, and I was kind of like, oh hey, that's pretty cool. What's Pixar up to now? And I'm kind of like, oh, they have the same style. It looks just like a Pixar movie. And then I'm kind of like, hold your horses there, bucko. It's not a Pixar movie. It's a Soren movie made by a studio I have never heard about. And so we watched Next Gen, essentially.
Yes.
On Netflix. It was good. I liked it. It was great, in fact. I'm sort of kind of happy how seriously it took its audience in a way.
Yeah, it really went places where I didn't expect it to do, actually.
Yeah, because you know, you have movies that are for, I'm not gonna say kids, because honestly, let's be real, kids movies within quotation marks, it's just that kids can watch it without being hurt by it.
Yeah,
but it's also for everyone as well. However, this movie didn't actually treat its audience like idiots. It had heavy subjects of death, loss, bullying. It had dark subject matter for sure. And it has a very, I'll be completely real, it has a derivative art style of Pixar movies.
Yeah, that's kind of the only thing that kind of really hurts the movie, actually, because it looks like a by the books Pixar movie if you don't really watch it all much, because if you only like see a poster or a trailer of it, you really get the wrong impression from it.
Yes, my first reaction to it was literally, oh, it's Big Hero 6 2.
yeah.
That was my first like impression of it. I was like, oh crap, they're making another Big Hero 6 movie, which is, you know, I like Big Hero 6, but
same.
I kind of felt that, oh, it's a bit too early to make a sequel now, isn't it? But it has most of the stuff you'd want to see from a movie like this. It has mech battles, it has heart, it has good scenes, it has good composition with good ideas. Some ideas you may recognize from before, and you might feel a little bit like, it's a little bit cheap, isn't it? But in some ways, it's also a lot of fun, and it tries a lot of new things. I'm happy to actually see a movie, an animated movie no less, that takes its audience a little bit more, you know, seriously.
Yeah, and it's actually quite fun that a Chinese movie for once actually becomes worldwide.
Yes, and it has so funny, so funny designs of everything. There's this robot in the in the movie that is this, like, it's a huge war robot. It's like designed for combat and nothing else. It looks like a fucking Tau Riptide from Warhammer 40k, and it's so funny when it's on screen, because you can tell that it's not made for being indoors, because you can like see it basically like hunches over trying not to break the ceiling whenever it comes in.
It like materializes inside a room.
Yes.
And when it moves, it kind of drags the whole ceiling with it.
Yes, and it's so fun because you can, like, every time before the robot enters, you see like the door frame, and then you see the robot inside the building, and you kind of like look at it. Why isn't that thing dragging the entire house wall with it as it enters the room?
Oh god, he was so fun with that guy.
And I'll give you a nondescript spoiler right now. It has an epic mech battle in it.
Yeah, yes it has.
It has a super cool mech battle.
It's glorious as fuck.
Yeah. Some things are a little bit cringy in it and doesn't make a lot of sense. I feel as if the main character, who's called Mai, I kind of felt a lot of the times that, even though you can make the argument, oh, she's a kid, you know, what is she gonna do? But sometimes I feel as if she's a little bit cardboard. You can feel a bit plasticky whenever you see her character.
Yeah, she kind of is an archetype of you know, that Oh, that edgy loner girl that can want to be a punk ass, but
Well,
really does.
yeah, she almost feels as if she's sort of like a power fantasy, like, oh, I want to be the misunderstood cool kid that then gets.
He's not a face,
yeah,
mom.
yeah. But it's so dumb too because um she, they sort of hint at some trauma befalling her, and like,
Yeah.
some horrible things happened and she feels very hurt by it, and all of that stuff. But they sort of don't really touch on how she was before that happened. They don't really touch on a lot of what she was before all this happened. So when she changes into this sort of rebel type girl, you don't really get it. I always kind of like felt like, oh, this isn't really her trauma speaking, it's just how she is, because
Yeah.
we didn't really get time to know what she was like before.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is a runtime thing, they can't have the movie go on forever, I guess.
Yeah, because the movie, what was it, around 1 hour and 40 minutes, like?
Yep, absolutely. Which is a good length, I reckon. It doesn't have to be Infinity War length of like 2 hours and 45 minutes almost. It's a bit too much if you want to mean. But I will say it had a really good twist.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I was not ready for that twist at all, and I'm super happy by it. The robots are super cute. It has some really epic action scenes in it, and I definitely would recommend it. I don't have a rating system, and I'm not gonna bother with one either. Just go and watch it if you have time.
Yeah.
For sure. And since we're on the topic, I know we're pros at segueing into different topics, aren't we? It's almost as if we're super unprofessional.
Yeah.
We watched the first episode of, brace yourself, fucking drumroll that shit, JoJo Part 5.
Golden Wind.
Golden experience, and
Ogon no Kase.
coupled with a little bit of golden showers while we were at it.
Yes. Boppity boopity spoopity.
And I'm a bit late coming into JoJo. I feel as if I am the fucking noob of this cast. I seem to always be repeating like, oh, I'm a bit new to this. I haven't really experienced that. I don't know much about this or that, and then I'm always late into it. But you always know everything before I do. So it was good. It was good. It was great. I had a good time with it.
Yeah, it was so hype throughout all of it. It's like it's been 2 years, man, since the last JoJo.
I'll be real. I didn't think it was coming out.
Yeah, there was doubt a long time actually, because for example, there was a Tumblr blog that was dedicated exclusively to the amount of days in which Golden Wind was not announced.
I sort of like felt, this isn't happening. It's gonna be a fun memory. Like, I'm gonna have to read the manga at some point. Was kind of my view on it.
Yeah.
But it actually did it. I don't know how they had time to keep it under wraps when they were doing a bunch of other projects.
Yeah, it's like a really big stealthful announcement back in July, I think. It's like, hey, Part 5 is coming. It's coming in 3 months. And by the way, we're gonna show the first episode on this conference. It's like,
yeah, for sure. And it's super interesting too, because I feel like the art style has gotten an update. I feel like it's very different now.
Yeah, I think what they're doing is that they try to adapt Araki's art style from each part so that it becomes more and more like what it should be in animated form. So, for example, in Part 4, Araki changed art style throughout the whole part. So it went from having a big, buff, muscly man Yosuke to a slim Yosuke throughout the story.
Okay.
Yeah.
No. Yeah, you're right. I've seen the manga panels of when he used to be like super buff and shit.
Yeah, but the productions decided to make something in between, so it kind of became more consistent with it. But in Golden Wind, I think they actually tried the best to actually replicate Araki's style in animated form.
one thing that I do notice about it is that they don't have the same. Do you remember the in part 4 how, for example, the sky and the color schemes would shift into different things? Now the color scheme is a lot more rigid and consistent, probably because everybody's fucking character designs and clothes are fucking whack as shit.
Yeah.
Like, everybody has like these really colorful outfits and stuff, and you know, in part 4 they didn't really have that much colorful clothes, and everything looked a little bit samey, so they needed the color scheme to shift to keep it interesting. Now they don't,
for the most part.
Yeah, they don't have to now. It's great. I also felt as if a couple of the background art reminded me of it was a short-lived anime called Gangsta.
Oh yeah.
It was interesting to actually see it, especially since I haven't seen a show where a deaf character sort of talks, talks and tries to read lips and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it until it kind of got a little bit shonen-y when they sort of like came up with this system of ranking the gangsters. Like he's an A rank gangster, and he has almost as if they had superpowers or something, and it got really boring after that.
Okay.
Yeah, so I stopped watching at that point. It basically lost all power with me. But enough about that. Part 5. One thing that I find freaking hilarious is that, and you were the one who told me about this, because they were like, I wonder how I'm gonna go a little bit in spoiler territory. I expect you who actually watch this podcast that you've actually kept up a little bit, okay? I'm saying it right now. I expect you to keep up with the episode. You told me that people were asking if Leaky Eye Luca was actually a Stan user. And then this image basically popped up. This image right here. And I'm gonna tell you right now, it's not relevant if he's a Stan user or not. Because this is essentially what happens to him.
Oh god,
it doesn't matter. Nobody cares if he's a Stan user or not, because fucking hell, he doesn't have a skull anymore.
Yeah, and it's even worse when the Bucciolati came in and like, hey, we disposed of his body. Here's his body part that you have to throw up.
Yeah, it was disgusting. Eh?
Oh god, it's gonna be glorious next episode. Oh my god.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to
it.
Honestly, if you haven't seen it yet, see it. Go watch it right now. And if you just got spoiled, then I'll tell you right now, I don't care. You should have watched the first episode yesterday. It's great. I like it. And I hope that I can't wait to see the main villain.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Absolutely. I read yesterday actually that God of Wind will actually be as long as part 4, 39 episodes.
39 episodes. Ah, cool.
Yeah.
Well, that's a good length. Just about a good length.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
So in conclusion, we will have 39 JoJo Fridays in the future.
39 JoJo Fridays. It's gonna be a holiday. Better write it up in your calendar, kids, because here we go. A wild
Every Friday.
Every Friday. Yeah, boy. And I don't know much about part 5. I know more about the other parts, and now that I've watched them, I know everything about it, but I barely know anything about part 5. You haven't told me much about part 5. Nobody has told anybody about part 5. And it feels as if I'm really going into this blind for once.
That's good. That's really good, because there's lots and lots of shit in part 5 that's gonna happen.
I read somewhere that in the West, part 4 is the most popular part.
Yeah.
While in Japan, part 5 is the most popular part. And part 4 is the least popular amongst the Japanese people.
That's really weird, because I think that's only because in Japan, part 4 is like as mundane in some kind of ways, because it's always all Japan.
Oh well.
But part 5 is like, exotic Italy.
It's funny because people view the Japanese as really xenophobic, But here it seems as if they're really sick of their own locale and want to see other places represented.
Yeah.
Which is super interesting. I think that's a good thing.
Mm.
And honestly, I love Part 4, but it's not because it's set in Japan. It's not the reverse, I think. I think it just has to do with that Part 4 is a really good break, sort of. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. In contrast from Part 1 to 3, it's kind of more like life of life, low stakes, kind of isolated in a small locale. There is not much world-fasting stuff.
It feels as if finally Araki is sitting down to have some good fun with his creations, which is great. It's a nice change of pace that I really enjoy.
Yeah, the best way to enjoy Part 4 is just sitting at a picnic, eating some sandwiches, and just say, "What a beautiful duang!" And just chew your bread.
Guess what isn't getting a Part 5, by the way?
What?
You people who've been waiting for the final episode of Walking Dead, you ain't getting shit.
Yeah.
Sorry. So Telltale, it's pretty much old news by then, but I do want to get a few spitballing ideas in it. They've shut down. Lots of people are not homeless. They're not homeless just because it's shut down.
Some are, but
some are without work. That's true. And I kind of feel like it's a shitty move on their end. They promised 5 episodes. They're not delivering on 5 episodes. I don't care what kind of economic crisis you're in. If the money ran out before you could complete episode 5, then you've been mishandling your money.
Yeah, I've actually read up on it, and what it seems to be is that most of the cost is actually from the licenses that they're buying from other companies. For example, the Batman license, and they actually recently acquired, before they closed down, the James Bond license to make a James Bond game.
Mm-hmm.
So the thing is that the licenses that they're buying are costing so much money that they just wasted on it, and then they don't get enough money back from it.
Well, to be honest, at some stage you kind of feel as if, because let's be honest, Telltale games don't really have any stakes. I always feel as if all the games end up at the same conclusion, as if it doesn't really matter how you got there. A bit of the story and a bit of the path changed along the way, but you always end up at the same point. It's just that different people are alive at the end, and then like the pivotal moment happens. Season 1 worked really, really, really great because it was a really good story. Season 2, I actually thought it was alright. It was okay, to say the least. And you have the franchises that basically just kind of flopped. You have Batman. No, sorry, not Batman. Batman actually kind of went alright. I mean Game of Thrones. The Game of Thrones one went really Game of Thrones,
bad. Jurassic Park, yeah.
Oh, they made a Jurassic Park. That's
right.
Yes,
they did. It was like one of the first games.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, and it was really clunky and shit.
But the Jurassic Park one actually had a fail state.
Yes, that's at least something, but it was clunky as fuck.
You could lose the game if you did the wrong things, but I don't know. I kind of feel like if you want to look for a story-based game where your choices matter, I kind of feel as if you kind of have to look for Until Dawn. The Until Dawn game is better in that regard. It still has static moments where it doesn't really matter what you do. It's still the same thing. You kind of end up at the same conclusion, but you sort of still care about the characters, and you still have a lot more input than what you have in a Telltale game, and so keeping the characters alive feels a lot more satisfying.
Yeah, and the thing with Until Dawn is that if you fuck up at the last part of the game, you will get the worst ending, because there's some really time-sensitive moments in the ending of it.
Yeah, I also would like to argue, and I'm probably gonna get a lot of flack for it, Life is Strange is a better story-based game than the Telltale game.
Yeah, because they actually have multiple endings.
Yeah, not only that. If you look at things like, there's a moment in the game where you have to talk someone out of suicide.
Yeah.
And essentially, the only way you're gonna complete that shit is if you have been paying attention. And I don't mean listening for cues in dialogue. I mean looking up every clue and evidence around you in the area so you can make a detailed conclusion that saves the character who's gonna kill him or herself.
Yeah, exactly. It's actually it's actually a worth a player for actually playing the game and doing other stuff than just follow through the main story.
If Telltale still had time before it went bankrupt, if they had just been focusing on making it a bit more detective-y, do you know what I mean? You paying attention really forms the story a lot more. Instead of, you know, do you want the story to go left or right? I am sure a lot of people would have a lot more interest in it. Definitely. Yeah. I hands down would be the best. Because right now it's very linear and static in a way. The only hook they sort of got is the characters, and the characters has to be goddamn well written for interest to, you know, keep going.
Yeah.
Definitely. Play Life is Strange. It's good. It's good. It's a bit cringy. It's a bit on the cringy side. I'll be the first to admit it.
It's Tumblr the game.
It is written by people who don't understand how teenagers work, and they kind of only try to, you know, angle it in a way that it's like really, really cringy, like as if teenagers don't talk like that. That's my end point.
Wowzers!
Woo! As if teenagers are like constantly trying to be hippies and trying to be really weird about it.
To be fair, though, some are, but that's not really many of them.
Those who are the ones who are considered to be super annoying.
Yeah,
true. Hands down. Could only be that way, definitely. But I feel really bad for the Telltale employees. I hope they find new work.
Yeah, because I think they actually got some calls by Ubisoft, Naughty Dog, and I think it was Insomniac that wanted to offer them places. So
yes.
So they at least got some backup.
Who cares if it's a PR stunt? It's most likely a PR stunt, but at the same time, it's cool. They did it. It's a cool thing.
It's a productive one.
Yeah, it's a nice thing that they did, and you know I couldn't be happier if they get another work going on.
Yeah.
But I do also hope that they do like a Half-Life thing, and they release the transcript for the final episode, so people at least get a little bit of closure on it.
Yeah, they should. And speaking of that, I saw some people who worked on Telltale before it shut down. They posted some of the joke work for the first season of Walking Dead. Like there was a joke ending where I think it was when Lee was in Clementine's house, he would ransack the whole house, find some cereal, and then eat it, and he would become huge and shoot lasers out his eyes and kill people.
Why didn't they make it?
Yeah, I know, but it was like kind of a shit post of an ending, but...
Well, Jesus, Silent Hill, Shiba Inu controlling.
Yes, I love that.
Why can't they make a joke ending? That's great.
Because we need to be serious and edgy and mature and shit.
That's a sad.
We have no space for fun.
Sad state of affairs. Get some humor on you. I wonder who's gonna be the next. Who's gonna be the successors to the Telltale throne?
I thought you would say who will gonna be the next company that will die.
Well, not really. Well, I'd say BioWare, unless
same.
Anthem has to sweep everybody off their feet, or else they're fucked.
Oh, but haven't you heard? They will focus on gameplay and not have any RPG elements in Anthem.
That's...
You know the thing that BioWare is revered for.
Yep.
Or they were revered for.
Yeah, you know, keep digging that grave, BioWare. I'm sorry, that's...
And EA is gonna shoot you at the back, and you will join the grave along with Pandemic and Maxis and all other stuff.
I wish them well, but it's not looking good, is it?
Yeah, I have no faith, sadly.
No, it's sad but true. And you know, I wish someone takes the place of Telltale. I know the Until Dawn creators are trying to take the whole formula forward with different story games, but they've always they seem to focus a lot more on realistic stories of, you know, teenage romance and drama, which is fine in its own. It's a fine formula for sure, but you know, we're not gonna get. It's not really gonna be that fantastical, is it? I'd love it if we got a little bit more stylized with it. Give us more Batman. Give us more Spider-Man. Give us more Guardians of the Galaxy. That's fine. Give us more of that stuff for sure.
Oh, speaking of Guardians of the Galaxy, I actually got to play the first episode of the Guardians of the Galaxy game.
Sure. Yeah.
And the funny thing is though that the first episode starts with the gang actually killing off Thanos.
You're kidding.
That's the first episode. And they get all the booty money from it, and they all drink on a space bar, and you have to choose if you want to put the house on the bill and make everyone make drinks, or you will drink it all by yourself. Oof. Oh, big choices, very oof.
Who are you playing as in the episode?
The first episode you're playing as Star-Lord.
Okay, yeah. So it changes perspective based on.
Yes. But what I'm actually quite curious about is how will the Groot episode play?
I am Groot. Groot will remember this.
Groot.
Groot.
No, you will get a message that says, I am Groot.
Well, I think sort of the dialogue options you would get would be sort of, it would probably be like the inflection of your voice. Sound angry, sound happy, sound sad, and
I am Groot.
It would essentially, it would be like, it would be like a low intelligence run on Fallout 1.
Yeah.
Where you literally have 3 responses. It's no, duh, mom.
Nani?
Nani? That's a CP. Said P. I don't fucking know. It's a reference anywho.
Yeah.
A little teeny tiny bit of a reference for sure.
Yes, indeed.
Yes, indeed. But yeah, I kind of feel like, you know, it's sad to see Telltale go. I wonder though, didn't they make like a King's Quest series 2? That was a lot like Telltale.
I don't think that was I don't think that was Telltale, but some company did the King's Quest game that was quite liked, I think.
Yeah, I wonder what happened to that, because they don't really make any. They didn't make any more, did it? But did it sell well? I don't actually remember if it did.
I think it didn't really sell well, but it was kind of it was well received, but not it didn't sell that well actually.
There is another game that it kind of fell under the radar, but it seems to be. I actually haven't played myself, but I would definitely recommend it if you want something like a Telltale game. I don't exactly remember, but it's like Sunday 67. It's about
that. I think that a revolution in Turkey or something about it.
Yeah, something like Revolution Sunday, something like that. I don't remember it. It's a shame that I don't remember it, but it's essentially about a big event in the Middle East, and you're sort of like a reporter, and depending on how you report about the events that transpire, it kind of changes. And that's a very interesting way to commit to the gameplay. That's kind of the thing that would have saved Telltale, would be if they actually made it in a way that, depending on who you're playing as, the gameplay is different. So if you're playing like Batman, you're playing a detective mission. If you're playing as Clementine, it maybe has a bit more to do with survival or trying to look innocent as a child in order to convince people. You know, it would have been nice if they changed the gameplay depending on who you're playing as, perhaps.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Anywho, that's all the time we got today. Thank you for tuning in, and
have a great day, everyone.
Yeah, looking forward to Halloween.
Don't die, please. Yeah, Halloween.
Yeah, Halloween.
Don't die. I'll kill ya.
All right, see you guys around. Bye.
Bye.